Good morning, everybody. This is your long-lost teacher, who I know that you miss so terribly, terribly much. Unfortunately, I am still not able to be back yet today, but do not fret, I will see you soon. But in the meantime, I figured that I would pop in and record this lovely lesson for you. And in this lesson, we are going to be looking at researching columns and what should go into researching it, what examples you should use, all of that type of stuff. Now, I do feel it is necessary to say that you very well may hear in the background either my dog, who is currently chomping at one of his toys to my left right now. You may hear him either whining or chewing on his toy. He's stopped right now. Or one of my cats who are jumping up to say hello. So if you do, that is them reaching out and wanting to make sure that their voices are heard. So I don't know if you will or not, but just in case. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right to it. So today we're going to be looking at researching for your column. And you may have looked through this. If so, great. If not, then we're going to look through it together. So in this lesson, we are going to go over why you should conduct research for a column. We're going to look at what supporting your argument actually means. And then we're going to learn and review how to conduct said research. All right. So first, the real burning question is, why would you even conduct research? What's the point in doing it? Well, first off, it gives your argument more weight. And what that means is that essentially it just makes it so that your argument's going to be taken more seriously. People are actually going to listen to what you have to say because you actually have facts that can back it up. Because let's face it, facts are always better than speculation, which essentially is just a fancy word for saying guesswork. If you guess or if you assume, then the issue is that you very well may be wrong. And if you're wrong, you just kind of look foolish. It's unfortunate but true. And in today's society, if you use speculation to support your opinion and you end up being wrong, a lot of times people discredit or write you off. And that would be really unfortunate if that happens. So be sure to just use that research to support what you're saying. It will show your readers why you hold a particular opinion, and note that I put it in all caps. It gives your argument credibility. So people will, again, like I said before, listen to what you are saying, and that is so, so, so important. All right, so how can you actually support your argument? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are a few different ways, and I just put a couple of them up here. I'm not going to go through every single way that you can support it because, let's face it, that would be kind of taxing. But some of the better supports that you can use include facts, like statistics or provable facts, and a statistic would be, according to a study conducted by Ashland High School students, 54% of the student body feels that the dress code is unfair. So when I cite that statistic, I'm literally pointing to 54% of the student body. So right there, I am giving that fact, I am giving that figure to state that this percentage of the student body agrees with what I'm saying. And that's a good thing because, again, that gives my argument weight, it gives it credibility. It also shows my audience that, hey, I'm not the only person who feels the way that I feel. All right, another example would be provable facts. So, for example, the current dress code was adopted during the 2016-2017 school year and was informed by students, teachers, and community members. So in here, with this provable fact, if I wanted to, if I was someone else in the community, I could go in and I could research, was this really adopted during the 2016-2017 school year? I would find out that yes, in fact it was. And then, if I went a little bit further and said, I wonder if people actually did have input into this. I could go in and actually see that, yes, there was a survey that was passed around. I don't remember exactly how many questions it was, but it did gather information and insight from community members, from students, from teachers, from parents, a whole host of people, so that then it could provide a dress code that fit everyone's needs and was a common ground, so to speak. All right, another example of A type of support you could use in your column would be experts. Now, the way that I would do this is I could cite or quote teachers, principals, students, and I would say current students there, because then you have people who are actually experiencing this dress code. You have people who are actually being impacted by it, and so therefore anything that they say will hold weight. It will make your argument, again, more credible. So that's the whole goal behind it. And then finally, the last one that I have up here are personal accounts. An example of this would be freshman Katie Kratz lost a day of schooling because she was sent home due to a dress code infraction. So right there, I have cited a specific person who was directly impacted by the dress code. And because of that, that again, adds weight, adds credibility to my argument. So all of these things work together to create a more well-rounded representation of the topic that you're talking about. Okay? So moving on, we're going to look at finding sources. So how do you actually go about finding sources to use to support your opinion and support what your viewpoint is? Okay? Now, there are a few different ways that I put up here. So first, search for articles and or videos. This could be from YouTube videos. They could be from a Google search. They could be from a super awesome site that I'm going to show you in a minute called InfoOhio. I love InfoOhio because it is, quite frankly, very, it provides really, really good sources. So that is one place that you can look. You can also just go to a basic Google search. A lot of times they will give you a lot of results. The only thing with Google is you do have to be very careful to filter through the things that are reliable and the things that are not reliable. And there are a few things that you always want to avoid because they will actually work against you. The first one, fake news sites. All right. Now, if you took digital media last semester, you do already know a little bit about fake news sites and how to spot them. I'm going to direct you to a fake news site in just a minute to show you how you can go about discovering if something is fake news or if it's not. Another thing to avoid would be extremely biased sites. And the bias is basically just if you are representing only one side. Because the issue is that if you only represent one side or if a site represents one side, you're missing the complete picture. So if you miss that complete picture, then again, people can write off your argument won't be taken as seriously. So you just got to be sure that anything that you're presenting is being presented well. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to exit off of this real quick and then go into a couple different websites that I have pulled up. All right, so I told you I was going to show you a fake news site. Here it is. All right, so this news site, and again, if you took digital media last semester, let me exit off of these ads. These ads are super annoying. All right, so if you took digital media last semester, you are already familiar with this because I showed it to you. This website called Chicago Civic Tribune is a fake news site. It's a satirical news site. One way that you can figure out if something is a satirical news site or not is by going to their About Me section. Now, under the Chicago Civic Tribune's About Me section, here's what it says. Chicago Civic Tribune has a long, rich history of journalistic integrity. Founded in St. Pierre, France by André St. Pierre's great-grandfather, Louis Bernard St. Pierre, it was originally entitled La Tribune Civique and debuted in 1940. La Tribune Civique went on to earn much acclaim for being the only paper in France that continued to be published during the Nazis' occupation of their country. It is for this reason Civic Tribune frequently donates to charities which benefit Holocaust survivors and their families. I don't know if you just heard little one or not. That's one of my cats. She just decided she wanted to pipe up. I think she agreed. So you can see in this little About Me section that clearly it's a little satirical. Now here's why I say that. This website is called the Chicago Civic Tribune, based in Chicago. Note, it says it was originally titled La Tribune Civique and debuted in 1940. All right, what does that have to do with Chicago? Doesn't really. And then it goes on at the end to talk about how this is the reason why the Civic Tribune frequently donates to charities which benefit Holocaust survivors and their families. Again, that's a little bit of a weird fact to include in an About Me section. So right here I can kind of see, maybe this isn't exactly reliable. So again, and with my knowledge of this, I know that this is in fact a satirical news site. So if I went to the About Me section, I would read it and then go, okay. If it doesn't seem like it's quite right, odds are it's probably not. So that's an example of a fake news site. Now, an example of a one-sided or a biased news source would be, for example, The Blaze. Now, if you or someone that you are close to, your family members, enjoy reading The Blaze, that's fine. Go for it. But headlines like this are what tip me off that this news site is highly biased. Anti-Trump Latino Dem makes stunning reversal after Democrats' performance at Kavanaugh hearing. So right here, I see that they're using the phrase anti-Trump. Okay, so rather than Democratic lawmaker or Democratic whoever it is, the title, they use anti-Trump Latino Dem. So right here, this is pretty sensationalized piece of information. So right there, that to me says, hey, this is probably pretty biased. All right, so you just got to be careful about it, got to be aware of exactly what you're using. So those are examples of two sources that you wouldn't necessarily want to use. All right, so let's continue on. All right, yay. Oh no, I forgot to change this part, the alien existence. That's supposed to say Bigfoot existence. So we are going to do a little sample research session, and our topic is going to be, is Bigfoot real? Now, unfortunately, since I am not in class today, you weren't able to make the choice as to whether or not you wanted to research if he was real or if he's not real. So I just decided, hey, we're going to research that he is. Now, I'm going to show you a couple different places where you can search to find sources. Oh my gosh, my dog is going nuts right now. Sorry for the background noise. Yeah, you want to be included? All right, so the first place I'm going to show you is a site called Info Ohio. All right, so when you get to Info Ohio, sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. My dog he got a case of the zoomies. He's just racing around like crazy. But when you go to Info Ohio, the first thing you want to do is click on grades 9 through 12, because obviously you're in grades 9 through 12. Once you get there, it will give you a whole host of different search engines that you can use. I'm going to just click Academic Search Premier. All right. So this will be academic type sources that they will provide for me. After that, it's going to take you to the actual search space. And I'm just going to type in Bigfoot evidence. And then once I search, it will come up with a whole host of sources that show me, hey, is Bigfoot real? Looks like he is. So I'm just going to click on this one, Bigfoot Exposed, because it is popping out at me. It looks exceptionally exciting. I'm going to click on where it says PDF full text. Now what that means